Hi guys, Stereo Hyped here, and I am back after a short break with a brand new game. No more FTL, thank God. This is This War of Mine. It's a bit of a depressing survival kind of war style kind of game. I took a bit of a break from YouTube because I was trying to find a game that would work, that would allow me to do fairly short snips without it seeming too disjointed, but this seems like a good game for that. I've played it a little bit, so I know the basics of it, so it's not like I'm going in blind like we did with FTL, which was an absolute disaster in my own opinion. But anyway, so, yeah, the basis of this game is that you pick a bunch of survivors during a war in what I think must be Russia, or something like that. You start off, let's just get into it. I'm going to stick with the same people that I've been practicing with, just because it makes sense for me to kind of stick with what I'm familiar with and not make an absolute arse of myself straight up on my first video in this game. So, day one. I won't spoil it for you. I know how many days that this is before the war is over. You basically need to survive the war. You're in this kind of run-down, bombed-out, absolute gutted shell of a house. As you can see, fuck the war. So there's clearly shit going on, and you have three people. You scavenge, you loot, you rob, you can kill, and you need to, by whatever means necessary, survive this war. So you do that by playing these three characters. They all have their own kind of, not abilities, but their own kind of perks and disadvantages. So how long has the siege lasted? It's hard to say when every day is a struggle for survival. The city is crawling with snipers. Shelling is ordinary business almost every night. Phones don't work and there is a shortage of food and meds, and many people are left homeless. Bruno and Marco have always been good friends, so when the war broke out they decided to stick together. They met Pavel while scavenging for supplies. He used to be Pogoran's star football player, and now he's just another homeless victim of war. So they teamed up hoping for the best. So yeah, I'll kind of pause it. Oh, you can't really. Fuck it. But yeah, these are the three people you've got. See, he's got a perk there. He's a good cook. He's a skilled scavenger. And this dude's a fast runner. He's slightly sick. There's nothing wrong with him. And he's slightly wounded. So, I'll get straight into it. The whole premise of this is you collect things through things like this pile of trash. And yeah, you click on these things and what you'll find is you get parts. So you can get things like herbs, which can be used to make medicines, and roll up cigarettes, which can be used for trading, components, water, wood. So you basically are collecting these bits and bobs to make extra things to help you survive. So you'll be making things like workshops, you'll be making, like upgrading workshops, you'll be making like cookers to make food, and ovens and stuff. You can make rat traps, which will allow you to catch rats to eat, which is pretty grim, but, you know, desperate times. It's a very depressing game. A really depressing game. It's not kind of like your light-hearted survival game, kind of like Don't Starve, I would say. Like, you could kind of... No, you couldn't really say it was like Don't Starve. It's pretty much like the kind of most depressing survival game I've played. Like, I've done Don't Starve, which is kind of got like a dark feel to it, but it's still kind of playful in it. This is very grim. Your characters will get depressed to the point that they will become broken, which means that you basically can't use them. They will literally just sit on the floor and you've got to try and talk them out of it. You have to make some really tough choices in terms of, I'll show you when it gets to the evening. You have the day phase, which you're in the house. And then you get to the night phase, where you can choose to send someone out to scavenge in various locations that become available in the game. Whilst others either can stay back home and sleep or guard, because you can get raided overnight. But yeah, you have to make some really tough moral choices. Like, you can go to places where people are occupying the locations, and you then have to kind of decide whether or not you want to actually steal from them. Some people will defend themselves because of that, and you run the risk of taking some damage or stuff. Some people are like vulnerable, and so you literally is that locked? Okay, so you need to start making stuff. Some people, yeah, are vulnerable and aren't able to defend themselves, and so you're literally just robbing like old people, and as a result, that will affect your character, and you'll become sad and depressed. Now, like, if I show you, this is your workstation. I'd like to have everything sorted before it. Right, here we go. So you can make various things. So beds are obviously a necessity if you want to sleep well and recover from injuries and disease that you can pick up. Not quite sure what the point of the chair is. It's better to sit on a chair than no floor. We should build where we've got a chair. I don't see much point in them. Heaters, it's not so crucial at the moment. However, when you get into later parts in the game, a winter comes, and that becomes an essential part there. Radio, I'm kind of still debating whether or not it's worth having the radio. The point of it is to get like weather updates and news. I suppose it does help because it tells you what kind of commodities are good for trading. If there's a scare, like there is a massive shortage of, say, coffee, for example, that becomes more valuable, and you know how to barter with that because you can trade in this game. It tells you about things like crime waves that come, so you don't want to have like one of your men out scavenging it and then both your dudes asleep in bed, and then you'll get raided and probably killed in your sleep. Cookers are important. It obviously helps you make food that is essential, obviously, to life. Duh. The distillery thing, I'm not too sure. I haven't messed with that yet. I know that alcohol is very good for trading, and that's the only reason that I can think of buying that or making that. Although the ingredients are pretty, like water, for example, is pretty scarce. And it requires a lot of that, so I've not played with that. Then you've got thing like your rainwater collector. You need to use a filter to make that work. That's kind of essential eventually, but I normally find that I get a lot of water early game from looting and raiding places in the evening. The metal workshop, though, we're going to make. This is kind of like, whereas this makes furniture and things, this will help, this like will allow me to make tools like lockpicks, for example, to open this door, which he's about to do. You can make crowbars, which help open doors as well, unlock cabinets. Also use a bit of a weapon as a bit of a weapon. You can also make hatchets, which are cool because it basically means that you are able to, say, loot a cupboard and then dismantle it. So you can make shovels, also kind of helpful. Those, I'll show you. These big piles of rubbish clear a lot faster with a shovel, but I don't tend to worry about that so much. But we will make a crowbar because they're especially handy. Right, so he's going to clean that now. He's not going to be able to open this yet, is he? No, it's locked, see? But once we've got that crowbar, it will be a-okay if he hurries up. But yeah, I've played this game quite a few times on my main stream on Twitch. It's quite a popular one. I enjoy it. I've done pretty well. Sometimes I'll make really stupid mistakes which will kind of cost me greatly. I've managed to get to day 36 with these guys, which is pretty epic, to be fair. I was chuffed with that, and then I obviously made stupid mistakes, which kind of just absolutely screwed me over, but hey-ho, what are you going to do? It seems as though as you progress or play it more, you can unlock, what's the word I'm looking for? Because you'll get people come to the door. You'll get the dude that trades, so you can swap items. I find it a bit unfair. He seems to be pretty greedy in that he'll ask for a lot of stuff for certain things, but then it depends on the rarity and value of what you're trying to get in return. But you'll get other people come that are like, can you come and help me? And you'll go away for the night, and you might potentially come back after helping someone like raid a specific place or help an injured person. I think it increases your happiness, so you feel like good for helping people out, and you can get rewards from that. But you can also get other people come to your door asking for refuge, which means you basically get like a fourth. I don't think you can get more than 4 characters at a time. See, it's the night time now, so we didn't get to finish kind of doing all that. So here you go, look. You've got your 3 characters here. This here tells you how many empty inventory or backpack slots they've got. So the higher, the better. Hence why he's a skilled scavenger. He can carry a lot more than these 2 guys. So you put him on scavenge, because you can pick one of these locations to go and have a look around. Pick up stuff, sorted. These 2 guys are going... I've never been raided on my first night. I normally would always put someone on guard. However, I think we're safe overnight. I'm going to let him sleep and not go on guard. I'll probably regret that. But I've never been raided on my first night. I think you're pretty much safe night 1. So anyway, we're going to send Marco out. And these are the different places that I've got. More locations will open as we get into the game and the further you get. So, excuse me. This is obviously our shelter. So you've got an abandoned cottage. A family barricaded themselves in this house, but despite their efforts, looters got inside. It's been abandoned ever since. Still, we might find some useful things that hunters overlooked or left behind. And it gives you an idea of what's left. I'm reading that, sorry, because my face is in the way, but the font is so tiny in this game, it's quite annoying. So yeah, there's some food, huge amount of materials, meds, huge amount of weapons and lots of parts. We could go to the ruined villa, which has a lot of stuff. They say that some people still live there though, against all odds. They must have some supplies stocked, like canned food and possibly bandages or medicines, but they don't want to trade. If we're desperate, we could try and steal from them. So see, that straight away screams that you're going to piss people off and make yourself depressed by stealing from them. The quiet house. It's in a housing estate that remains almost untouched, and it's in a calm area of little houses with porches and gardens. Most of these houses are still inhabited. People are trying to lead their normal lives here. We've got nothing to look for there unless we're willing to steal. Now that is a place that we'll go to eventually, but it's quite sad. It's an old couple's house that you basically go and ransack, and the wife is ill, and the husband pleads with you not to steal the medication and the food because they won't survive. And it's quite sad because if you do steal all their stuff, you can come back a few days later and they won't be in there anymore because they're basically dead. Eek. But we're going to go to the abandoned cottage, so you can prepare. So you can take stuff with you, like weapons, or if you wanted to take some stuff, if there was maybe someone to trade, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take the crowbar purely because I know that there are going to be some doors that I need to hack open. So you basically travel to that location and start searching, basically. I love the look of this game. It's so dark and, like, just, it really feels, you can feel how kind of desolate and desperate times are with this kind of black and white style of, like, game. I really like that, apart from the orange. As we go through the game, I'll explain. Loads of the stuff is just kind of self-explanatory. So you need like components and wood to make stuff. You need electric parts later on to make more advanced things. Again, they're for making kind of mechanical devices. Shell casing you can eventually use to make your own kind of weapons and guns. Because eventually you'll get to the point where you're having to go into like military bases or places that are heavily guarded just to try and survive. But at this moment in time, the key important things are these things. Are the components and the wood. Simply because you need to make a lot of stuff early in the game just to make things a little bit easier for you. My first few plays, I was very much kind of... so for me, like those aren't that important at this point. Yeah, I was very much kind of focused on the... what's the word I'm looking for? On making sure I had plenty of meds and food. That was my prime concern. And I was getting to the point where I wasn't lasting that long because these places can get looted by other people. So, I think it's once you discover a certain place. I think within 3 or 4 days it will start to get looted by other people. You don't see it, but when you come back, there might be less and less there that you leave behind. Oh, and always read these things as well. Oh no, that's wrong. It was that I was going to click on, but. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. You obviously need to be quiet. I'm just trying to max out, so I'd like to find at least one more cog. because then I know that I'm going back with like, see now look, there's lots of food there, which I would have normally taken and been like, oh my god, we need food. A family photo of parents and 2 daughters. Good thing the girls don't resemble their father. He looks like a bear. Nice. They're probably dead. Respect. Nope. There's loads of parts here though, which is awesome. We could potentially come back with a shovel. That might be handy, but the problem with that is... a note says, on the first day they robbed us, 2 days later they murdered our girls. I shot every one of them, but I don't want to use the gun anymore. It's broken and buried in the backyard. So there's a gun in the back garden, basically. It's good to know. Right, there we go. That was what I was looking for. So we've got... This is basically a full hand of stuff. We won't waste the night. We'll hack open everything that we can potentially... I might even dig that pile, actually, before going back. But you might see it kind of like a sonar wave coming out from me when I do certain things. And that's basically just to show that the amount of noise that you're making, because when you do go into places with other people, if you start making a bloody racket like rummaging through a pile of crap, you're going to draw attention to yourself. The reason that I failed so many times before in this game has been because I've sent Marco somewhere and not respected the fact that some people are actually carrying guns. I start stealing something right in front of these people, and they just pull the gun out and they're like, hey, fuck you, poo poo. And then Marco gets killed, I get pissed off, and I normally end the game. And then the thing is, when you lose people and they die, it affects the other people back home. They start getting depressed. Oh god, why did he have to die? Blah, blah, blah. And there's 2 ways you can lose this game. You can basically lose this game by having everyone die, or what can also happen if you aren't kind of looking after the guys in the house and they get depressed and that, they can actually leave you. They'll just like, you'll go to sleep one night and wake up and it'll be like, Marco deserted us in the night. And they can actually steal stuff, so they can like sod off and take like your food, and you'll be like, well, that's great. So, yeah, they all have kind of perks. I don't think they actually have, I don't think they're susceptible to like things like some people might be more susceptible to depression, but they certainly do all kind of have their perks. So he's a skilled scavenger, which means I'm guessing that because he can carry a lot more than most. Bruno's a good cook, which I think means that he can make food without using as many materials for that. I'm just making sure that everything's open, so we don't need to necessarily come back with the whatchamacallit, the thingy. How do you get into the back garden? Interesting. Oh no, hang on. It might be... This might be classed as the back garden still. Because he said about a gun. Right, and it'll be here now, look, watch. Yeah, the gun's there. Basically, because we read that thing, that note about him saying, oh, I killed my daughters and buried the gun then becomes available to loot in the garden, because you know where it is, you know what you're looking for. So we get an update now of how the night went. So we're on day 2 now. Night was calm. I knew that we wouldn't get any trouble, so it's fine. And it tells you what you've looted, and it updates you on if any of the people are feeling wounded, or if they're feeling unwell, or if they're sad. It gives you an update here. So it says here that it obviously seems that Bruno is starting to feel a little bit unwell, which basically means that he just needs to sleep again. We can come down here. We need to start getting rid of all this stuff. He's recovering and hungry, so we need to start thinking about food. Yeah, we're going to upgrade. Upgrading stuff's quite important early on. It gives you a lot more options in terms of what you're going to be making and stuff. So the sooner you do that, the better, in my opinion. Although I just realised we do need to make an oven still and another bed. I always say that it's best to have 2 beds, like have a bed less than the maximum people you've got. So I've got 3 people, so I need 2 beds minimum. That's nice. Bit of food, bit of grub. Hopefully, I haven't just wasted all our mats on... Right, we can make a bed. Can we make the oven as well, though? No. We can make a bed, but no oven. I'm going to go with the bed first, and then we'll make the oven tomorrow. So we'll build that there. But yeah, so you'll get a long list of stuff that kind of is going wrong with these people. So now he's hungry, slightly wounded, and tired. You need to kind of keep an eye on those because they can potentially really screw you over. So he's hungry and slightly sick. At this point, we'll put him to bed. And then we'll open this door and finally just clean the house. Once I've got a hatchet, I can start breaking down things like that, and I think the table, just so that you can get a bit more wood. And at that point, yeah, you're laughing in terms of wood and what's the word I'm looking for? And fuel, which you need to use on the cooker and things like that. So, but let's have a look what we've got in here. Meds, water, herbs, awesome. Right, Bruno, my friend, you're gonna not be able to come and cook anything. We might get a visitor today. I haven't got an awful lot to trade. If the trade man turns up. If that's the case, I might just... Because you can skip to the end of the day. We can make another bed. We can make a radio. We need 2 more parts. No, we're not going to bother with that. Because we do need to have the cooker made. So I'll save and wait for that. But yeah, some of the other people that you can have turn up at your house. There's a lawyer. Her perks seem to be that she can kill people and steal without feeling the negative effects of that, so she won't get sad and depressed by being a bitch, basically, because apparently that's what lawyers are like. We'll end the day so we can go out and scavenge again. Who else is there that you can get? There's a dude, Marin, who's a good handyman, so he'll make things a lot quicker than everyone else. Right, we need to put people on guard and sleep. Right, we're going to go back to the... See, look, see, new things have opened. So, the supermarket has opened, and the school as well. Now, if I click on the supermarket, there you go. Obviously, loads of food and meds you'd expect. Caution advised, so that means that there is the potential there for violence. I don't think I've got one that's got danger on it, but some of them will just say danger, which basically means that they're going to be hostile to you, regardless of who you are or what you're doing. We don't need that crowbar. Now, the other thing as well about leaving people at home to guard, it's best to leave them with a weapon of some sort. They'll do better at kind of fending off attackers if they've got a weapon of some sort. So the crowbar will count as a weapon as well. You can toggle between like scavenging mode and fighting mode. As you can see, I can only use my fists if I was to get into a altercation or a fight. Just because I've left my crowbar at home. But you can eventually make things like knives are good, hatchets are good. You can make guns, but then you rely on ammo. I've made a couple of handguns before. You can make a... we do need to get the food, actually, to be fair. You can get... crap. What don't I want at this point? We still don't want weapons. We don't need sugar cubes. Take that. We don't need all those cigarettes. We certainly don't need that at this point. So just take what we can that's going to be actually helpful. You can make like machine guns or like those kind of assault rifle type of things, but I've not ever put one of them together. I don't feel like we need the books right now. I'm going to take more of these parts because they seem to be a bit rarer than wood. Electronics at this point I still don't need. We'll take the wood as well. I'm not sure I need all that water, all those weapon parts, to be fair. It's interesting. But, yeah. Bandages, though, that's pretty cool. I'm going to leave that there and take that, simply because the alcohol's better for trading. And we'll leave the weapon parts for now and take that. Or will we? No, we'll take the weapon parts and leave that. Yeah, I'm feeling that. And with that, I think we're going to just leave. We'll come back again tomorrow. We'll be able to loot some more stuff. I think that's the most frustrating thing about this game. Oh, no, wait. Oh, crap. We could have got more weapon parts. It's fine. Not a problem. My bad. Right, I think we would have been raided last night, though. So, day 3. and we were raided. And it says, okay, someone tried to rob us. They were just a couple of scavengers, so we managed to fend them off. We had some weapons, but not enough for everyone because we only had one crowbar for 2 people. Pavel was wounded, but the attackers didn't still think we are able to defend ourselves. And then it tells you that Pavel got slightly wounded, and that's what the kind of stuff we've just picked up. So, in regards to that, Pavel needs to sleep. He needs to recover. This dude needs to make an oven. We definitely need an oven at this point. Make. And I just seem to stick it in the kitchen because that seems to make sense to me. Right, Bruno is going to do the cooking, but we're going to come down here and see if we can upgrade stuff. Don't think we're going to have enough parts though with the oven being made. But you want to upgrade your workstations fairly soon, just so that you can get as much. Yeah, you need a lot of stuff for that. We need 30 of these bits, components. It's awkward. Can we make anything though? Nothing, no. So you need more weapon parts to make the knife. Let's see what else there is that we need to make. That we could make, that would be handy. The radio at this point I think we should make. So we'll put that in this room here. Apparently as well, if you play the music on the radio, it makes, like, it kind of alleviates the stress and sadness on your characters, but I don't know if that's proven or not. So, right, we're going to swap over. You're going to come up here. You're going to finish making that because Bruno can do the cooking. Got quite a nice bit amount of food here, actually. Right, we need to make fuel. So, we can make one of them, which is basically 2. Yeah, so you need vegetables for that. Right, we're going to make... Hang on. So we need 2 for that, and then... how many can we make? I'm going to go... Yeah. We'll go 4, because that will just be enough food to cover for everyone. The radio is pretty fun. You have to tune it yourself, so... Hopefully we'll get a visitor today, and we'll be able to trade some bits for components and bits. Right, so yeah, if you want to, look. So look, you can tune into different stations. The rebel leader instructed us to warn the listeners not to cross the front line. Failure to comply could result in death. Then you can turn that round. Upcoming day should be nice and warm, perfect for a stroll in the park. Lol. And then, wait. Oh, hang on. Yep, there should be some more news here. Despite desperate counterattacks by the rebels trying to lift the siege of Pogoron, the city remains cut off. Government forces do not allow any aid to reach the city, claiming it would end up in rebel hands. And then put the classical music on. Classical music seems to chill them out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You're going to come up here. Right, Bruno's going to do some cooking now. Yes. And then people can eat. Because if they're kind of well-fed or not desperately hungry, they tend to recover. Oh, here you go, look. Yeah, it's the trade man. This dude comes and you can barter with him for extra bits and bobs, which is normally handy. If he accepts your stuff. He's a bit of a nightmare, though, to be fair. So, at the moment, we desperately need loads of this stuff. So, we'll take that. Maybe a stack of them. Right, we have to see what he'll be willing to trade. Right, we've got a gem, alcohol, some of these herbs. I don't tend to use herbs a lot. Bollocks. I don't know what else to give him. A book. Do you want a book? There we go. So, that's quite a lot to give him, to be fair, but none of that stuff's useful. That stuff, like jewels and that, are generally just for trading anyway. So, and we need this stuff to kind of make extra bits and bobs, so I think that's a worthwhile deal. And then you can send him on his way. Then hopefully we should be able to upgrade this now. Bruno, you're a legend. You're going to eat. You deserve that. Still haven't got enough components, though. God damn it. It's not fair. It's annoying as fuck. But we'll get these guys fed. You can sit down. Right, who's hungry? He's hungry. But he's just tired. So he'll sleep. He'll eat, and then we'll put him back to bed. And then, yeah, we'll skip to the end of the day. We need food. Well, there's food there, my friend. Enjoy it. Nom. Right. Go back to sleep. Bruno, you're going to come cook some more food. I think we've got enough. Yeah. How many can we make? Only 2. God damn it. We'll make 2 more bits of that, and then we'll make like a load of food. It's fine. But yeah, you can patch up these walls and that, which help like deter crime. Apparently, it keeps you safe. I'm not quite sure how that works, but you know, it says it makes you safer by boarding up. Well, I suppose it would, wouldn't it? If you've got holes in your wall, people are just going to walk in and rob you, aren't they? But yeah, I do like this game. It's depressing as shit, but it's interesting. It's got some like good characters in it. It's quite difficult. It gets frustrating at times as well. But yeah, what I'm going to do there, guys, is I'm going to call it. We've gotten into it. I think we're going to do fairly well with this game. I've had some practice, so it's not going to be a big old mess like FTL. As always, thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. It is proper appreciated. Come and check me out on Twitch or on Twitter. And yeah, guys, hopefully we will be able to complete this game eventually. I can see us putting a good few hours into this. Let's hope we can survive the war. And so, until next time, guys, take it easy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Hey guys, Stereo Hyped here. Just wanted to say another big thank you for watching my video today. You lot are absolutely awesome. Also, just to tell you, you can watch me stream live at twitch.tv, and you can follow me on Twitter, where you'll generally find me chatting more shit. Links to both can be found in the description below the video.